You're listening to The Endless Party with your hosts,
Megan Elijah Armstrong. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Endless Party.
Yeah.
Today, we are super excited to share a message with you about one of our favorite phrases
Something that we've lived by.
It's something that we've lived by this past year. I feel like it kind of originated in August or September.
Definitely. Kind of right when we started this podcast, actually.
Yes. And the phrase that we've come to live by and that has kind of changed our lives is this phrase, something big is coming. And every day we look at each other and we're like, something big is coming. Something's just right around the corner. And this phrase has actually kind of changed our lives because what it's done is it's given us this hope and this belief in ourselves and in our lifestyle that something big is coming. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that something big is just right around the corner. And I won't ever stop believing in this.
Well, it's kind of cool because as just with our past history as athletes, that's always what we believed. And you kind of have to believe that.
Yeah,
or else,
especially as like a track athlete.
Yeah, you can become rather discouraged pretty quickly. And, I mean, Meg can relate to this as well. I remember I was training for the mile my senior year, and I was doing everything that I could to get under 4:10 in the mile. And nothing I could do would make it happen. And finally, one day, after months and months and months and months, and I had just graduated. It was in June, right before my freshman year of college, and then I ran a 4:07, and it was a huge PR, right? But it took months and months and months, and the entire time my understanding was, you know what, it's gonna happen. Something's big gonna happen. I'm gonna pop off. Like it's gonna work. Like it's gonna be great. Mm-hmm. You know. And so Meg can relate to that just as well as I can with sports and especially with track and with running fast times.
I remember like on paper I would run like 2:15, 2:15, 2:15, 2:15 for like months.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'd drop like a couple seconds just because, but for months I was just at that stagnant 2:15. Mm-hmm.
And so now in our own day-to-day life, as we do this podcast, as we work on other business ventures, and just really with everything, with our daughters, with our marriage, we always have been, especially when times get tough, it's like, yo, I know something big's gonna happen.
It's right around the corner. It's
right
gonna
around
happen.
the corner. It's gonna happen. It's not far off. And what's cool about this phrase is that we want to continue to live this way, even if nothing big ever happens.
That's what I was going to talk about next. So something big is going to happen.
Yes.
Okay. So what about the people who are like, well, what if it never happens to me? What if it never happens? And I'm like, okay, but what would you rather do? Would you rather live your life with that hope and that belief and the faith that something big is going to happen? Or are you going to like resign to mediocrity and give up on that belief? What would you rather do? Would you rather quit the belief or would you rather choose to believe? And I'm like, well, me personally, I don't care if I'm 99 years old still saying something big is happening. I would rather live my whole life believing and hoping and working towards something big or something, some kind of break than just choose to quit and resign to, just the mundane.
Well, it's like that awful quote that's basically never try, never fail.
Yes.
Right? And it's like, yeah, but you never try, you never succeed either.
Absolutely.
And so it's the same mantra with us, is we really want to be the ones that are trying. Even if we fail over and over and over and over again, we still hold on to that hope that something big is going to happen and something big is on its way.
It's in the works. I know it is.
And it's kind of cool because, I think people have this misunderstanding about failure, and
I was gonna say this, man.
And failure. Zig Ziglar says it this way. He's like, failure is an event. It's not a person. And meaning, it's in the past. It goes away. Mm-hmm. It doesn't stick around. And so, with failure, like I look at my past failures, and they really weren't past failures, right? I might have lost a race. but then there was another race right around the corner that I was going to win.
Right.
You know, or we might have had a hiccup in our marriage in the sense that we had a fight or something, but that doesn't mean it's a failure.
Right. I kind of was gonna like talk about this where I'm like, what even is failing? And I just think the word fail should be like eliminated from like our language, because what does it really even mean to fail? Can you really ever fail? Right?
I think the only way that you can truly fail is if you never try.
Right, but then that's just not trying. So I'm like, maybe we should just take out failure, forget it exists. Like, just like eliminate that word from even like your mentality, because if it's gone, like there's only room for success and growth.
Right.
And of course, you need to try, you know. But and I
Yeah.
agree that to me too, like a fail would just be me like never trying. But like, what would happen if we just eliminated the word fail?
Well, I think there's a lot of words that this actually was brought up. I don't know where I read this, but years and years ago, I read something in some type of book I was reading, and it said in a Native American tribe here in America, there was not a single person in all the lineage of this tribe that ever stuttered, ever had a
Okay.
stutter. And it wasn't until the word stutter was introduced that somebody in that tribe began to stutter. And so it is interesting that you bring that up, because failure, right? I think if we eliminated a lot of words in our English language, we would see massive results, because words have power, right? Like they have a divine power, more so than we even realize or comprehend. And so it's kind of cool. This is kind of off on a little bit of a tangent, but well, actually, no, it's not. It's very fitting, because if we continue to say something big is coming,
I think it's gonna
happen, right? Because it manifests itself. We speak it into existence.
That's one of my favorite things that I believe you can do, is you speak your life into existence.
Yeah.
If you say you're gonna have a really hard marriage and it's not gonna work, it's probably gonna be a hard marriage and it's not gonna work.
Right.
If you say that you have a really hard toddler and they're just a bad kid, you're probably gonna end up with a bad kid. If you say that you hate your job and you're never gonna get that promotion, you're probably never gonna get that promotion, because that is what you're speaking into the universe.
Right.
And I'm such a firm believer in speaking positivity and good and just belief into the universe.
Yeah, that's what we hope this podcast is for each of you too.
Yeah.
You know, is that you start to pick up on these small things that we're striving to implement. And don't get us wrong, we're not perfect by any means at implementing
no,
these
there's
things.
still
And
lows.
we could do a lot better. But our whole understanding and mantra has been, since this last year in September, was something big is coming.
Yeah.
And that being said, Meg actually brought up a good point before we even started this podcast episode, and that doesn't mean that you just sit.
No, we're not just sitting here waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
We're actively trying to build something, make something happen ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we believe in that work.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's just like a job. What is it? A job done is better than a job.
A perfect,
What is the quote?
It was like a job done is better than something perfect. Than a job perfect.
Done is better than perfect.
Right.
And we're firm believers in that. And it's like, I mean, look at this podcast, for example.
Look at the chairs we're sitting in.
Look at the chairs we're sitting in. Look at our backdrop. Look at, I mean, everything about this. My laptop's case is busted. Our tripod is a makeshift tripod because we could only get one at the time. And so it's interesting, but it's like, this is better than nothing. And so I hope our action inspires you guys to take action in the small and simple things that you want to accomplish and you want to strive to work towards. And really that's the understanding, like, start with what you have.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. And because of that, that's what makes the something big actually arrive. Yeah.
Yes. Because you're willing to start like where you are with what you've got.
Well, it's interesting too. Like, me and Meg can relate to this, and I think all athletes can. When we first started running, I was in hand-me-downs. I was in janky stuff. And luckily, I had a good coach and stuff. And so
I only wore hand-me-down spikes. I never got a new pair of
yeah,
spikes.
I had hand-me-down spikes for at least the first 2 years
Yeah.
that I was running.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting. It's like that's what we started with. And I remember I was made fun of constantly by other kids who were in like the nicest Nike gear and
Right.
everything else. But you know, it's beginning with what you have, and eventually, you know, we were both D1 college athletes. And it's like, had we not began because we didn't have all the nicest things, you know,
Yeah.
something big wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the next thing I wanted to talk about is a question that I asked Elijah the other night. And I was like, what is the risk in taking a risk?
Right.
Why are we so afraid to take a risk? What is the risk in taking a risk, in betting on yourself, and believing that your efforts can create something big?
Yeah.
And what do you think that is? What do you think people are afraid of? What is that risk?
Well, I genuinely believe that it's not even them. Quite frankly, I think it's from outside voices, and mainly it's from the adversary or Satan or Lucifer or Diablo or whatever you want to call him. But
Black magic.
black magic,
Whatever's out there. So
something's keeping you back. But it's never you. I mean, prime example, I always go back to this example, but look at kids. Right? Look at little kids. Do they ever doubt that they
No.
can do something?
They're always taking risks, jumping,
Well, it's
climbing,
crazy because I
exploring.
mean, you can talk to a toddler and it's like, "Do you think you can do that?" And they're like, "Freak, yeah, I can do
course I
that."
can.
And it's like, "No, you can't. I know you can't because you can't even walk straight."
But
like,
they
but they
believe
believe
can.
wholeheartedly they
And
can.
we lose that.
Right? And somewhere along the way we lose it. And I think it's definitely part of society, but also I think there's a bigger force out there that a lot of people don't recognize or don't believe in, and that's, you know, the adversary, and that's he's going to do everything to keep you down. But it's interesting because the biggest risk in taking a risk is the fact that you doubt yourself.
Yes.
That's the only risk.
Yes. I don't even think there's a risk. It's just that you allow doubt to creep in.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a risk in taking a risk.
I don't think there's
What
a
do you
risk.
really have
Well,
to lose?
I mean, here's what's interesting. Even if you look at the past success stories of everybody, all of them betted on themselves, and some of them, quote unquote, failed.
Most of them hit rock bottom at a
Yeah.
time.
And then they built an empire upon that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some type of quote that's like, if you hit rock bottom, be grateful. You can't go any lower.
Mhm.
And now you can just build from there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing with us, like, at this time of our life. It's like, what do we have to lose? And really, I don't think anybody has anything to lose so long as they bet on themselves and have faith and believe in that. And that's why we started this podcast, is one, we believe in ourselves, but two, we believe in people. And we hope that people start to believe in themselves after listening or watching or, you know, just being a part of this.
Yeah. So Elijah and I chose to like take a risk, you know, bet on ourselves. And it's been so interesting. There's more to that story too. We decided to bet on ourselves and take like an unconventional route in lifestyle. But a huge key part of like the success that we've seen with this lifestyle is we included God as one of our business partners as a partner in this like
Right.
relationship. And in doing so, it's been just so amazing to watch us be able to maintain this lifestyle, even though no one knows how we do it. And quite frankly, I don't really know how we
Sometimes
don't know
even
how we do it. But the thing is what this all can be attributed to is that God is for sure one of our partners, and he is just as much a part of, you know, this risk and this lifestyle, you know, as we are.
Well, it's pretty cool because my personal belief is that God cares more about your goals, dreams, and ambitions than you yourself do. And when you actually ask him what it is that you are meant to do, he's going to tell you, but also he's going to help you realize what you want to do and who you are and your potential. And because of that, I think that's what pushed us to do this podcast, is we, as Meg said, took an unconventional route in life. And people, I mean, I don't even know how many people have told us we're idiots, we're stupid, we need to just get up and move, we need
Everybody.
to, I mean, everybody.
Most people just, yeah.
Yeah, like I've been offered other jobs outside of the one that I'm currently pursuing that I know is just lesser than my potential.
Right.
You know. And what's interesting though is I think that's a perfect leeway into the last thing that we wanted to talk about, and that's go
Good
ahead.
is the enemy of best.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about it a little in another podcast, but we wanted to bring it up again because it's really important. Because when you think of best, you think like the enemy, the worst thing would be like worst.
Right.
Worst is the enemy of best, but it's not. It's
No.
actually good.
Well, it's interesting. We were having a conversation with a couple of friends of ours, and I've had this conversation
With a lot of people. We've had it with so many
people. And it was interesting because a couple friends, a couple groups of friends have done this, and they've been like, well, we were actually going to really just bet on ourselves and just let God like work out the details.
And
but then
pursue this and believe in ourselves.
But then something good happened. We got a promotion, we got a new job, you know, whatever it was. My wife got a promotion, and it's
so
like, oh, well, this is good, and you know, it's even a little better.
Right.
And it's like, well,
it is good.
It is good, but it's not the best.
Right.
It's not your full potential. I mean, I watch so many of my friends go to jobs that they hate for hours and hours.
Come back trashed,
miserable,
sad.
Yeah.
And I've also heard these same friends talk about these amazing ideas that they have to like put into, you know, society. Yeah. You know, like they have such good ideas and so much to offer, but yet they go to the 9 to 5 and that's where they give their energy every day.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and the hard thing too is like we need money.
Oh, everybody does. Like
money's on the same playing field
like
as oxygen, right?
Yeah, that's the quote. It's like money isn't everything, but it's relatively close to oxygen. Life is just better with it, you know? And but here's what's crazy about it is I watch these friends literally like waste away.
They hate their jobs.
Like instead of building up to their potential, they are chipping away at their potential. Like each and every day. And it's pretty sad and disheartening. Because I really wish people would just bet on themselves. And if people really did, we would see so much more success out there.
I think so too. It's just interesting. It just is just so telling to me that the pursuit of good takes away from the pursuit of what's best. And it's interesting that normally good has something to do with money.
Yeah, always.
It always has something to do with money. Like, oh, we'll have more money if we pursue this. Oh, like, we'll have more security. We'll be more comfortable. We could maybe buy a new car. We can maybe move to a nicer place. But it's like, would you rather have those, you know, tangible belongings, or would you rather have, like, that spirit of belief in pursuing what is best for you?
Yes. I'll actually share this. There was a job opportunity for me, and
it was really good.
It was really good. In fact, I would say it's better than good.
It
wasn't best, but it was better than good.
It was really good. Really good.
However, I would have made so much money in such a short period of time, and I would have learned to trade. I would have it was a better than good opportunity. However, it wasn't the best opportunity.
It wasn't.
I would have had to work 60 to 80-hour weeks, and I would never have saw my family. However, my family would have been in $1 million house. They would have drove the nicest cars. My daughters would be wearing the nicest clothes. Megs would be wearing the nicest clothes. But at what cost? And that would be the downfall.
And we had this conversation where I was like, this is great, but like, are you ever going to be able to come back and pursue your dreams?
Well,
are you ever going to be able to work on this? And are you ever going to be able to see us?
Right. That was the biggest one for me. You know, it's like, okay, I can sacrifice sleep to work on my dreams. However, I can't reverse time and watch my daughters grow up. I can't reverse time and be able to hold them in my arms. I can't reverse time and see my wife mother these beautiful little babies. That's something that you can never get back. And so
you
it's
can
like,
always make more money.
right, like money's always going to be out there and you can always make money. And so it came back to this understanding that, like, what is true success in my life,
And what is best.
and what is best. And I can honestly say best is for me to be home with my wife and kids as much as possible, right? Yeah, sure, we're in a financial situation that we're not making oodles of money currently.
No.
However, it's like, I know for a fact there's not another dad out there that sees their kids as much as I see mine. There's not another guy out there who is able to spend every day, all day with his wife on a podcast to be able to just converse and talk ideas and really just work towards something great. But the reason I say that is because this isn't just a unique story to me or Meg or our
No.
family. It can be everybody's story. And that's why something big is always around the corner.
It's always
because
there.
you're always working towards it.
And I know you can make it work.
Right.
Like, just shake off the doubt and just choose to believe and watch the details come together. Watch your life unfold.
Yeah.
But it takes work.
Well,
I mean,
it takes a lot of work.
People don't see all the work we put into
Here's
this.
what's crazy about this, right? It's like, I'm currently not working a stereotypical job. However, I'm putting hours and hours and hours
Probably
into
more
multiple
into
businesses.
This. Yes.
This is one of them. Another one I'm working
Sure.
on, and another one I'm working on. And nobody is seeing the hours and hours that we put in, right? It's interesting. It's like, I could go work the 80-hour week and make millions of dollars, or I could work the 80-hour week on what I'm truly passionate about and eventually make it into something big.
Right.
So,
I mean, it's your choice,
Yeah, it is.
And what do you want to choose? And just like ponder, what is best for you and your situation, and what is the risk in taking that risk, taking that jump?
yeah.
What do you really have to lose?
Mm-hmm. And I think there's no better place to stop than that.
I think so too.
So, remember, something big's around the corner.
Something big is
Bet on
going to
your-
happen.
Bet
I know
on
it.
yourself, work towards it, and you'll see the success. So,
All right.
until next time, guys, thanks. We'll see ya.
You've been listening to The Endless Party. Please feel free to join us over at our website, theendlessparty.com, for more of our content. Also, we would love to hear from you. Leave some comments and let us know what you're interested in us talking about.
Seriously, like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, whatever it is the platform says to do, so that we can keep partying together.